I grew up in a home that was very, very religious. My parents, my brother were all known to be scholars. My father sometimes gave the khutbah at the Central Mosque. He was a Sharia court judge until he retired. Here my mother established a huge Islamic organization. They also established schools. They've written books, given lectures all over the world. My dad was even honored with the King Faisal Award for service to Islam. And then there was me, Maryam Lemu. I was a Muslim by name, by chance, not by choice, because I was born into it. I prayed 5 times a day, but I didn't know what for. The things I prayed for, I didn't see instant results. So I felt Allah wasn't listening to me. Prayers became more like an exercise for me. I became almost like a robot. I did things automatically. Literally, I became a blind follower. I was told to pray, so I prayed. Read the Quran, I would read. Why? Because Allah said so, and He would reward me. End of discussion. I had questions like where Allah came from. The proof that the Quran is really Allah speaking to us. When I asked my teachers, no one seemed to have the answers that satisfied my curiosity. Just that Allah appeared from nowhere, and He's everywhere. He exists. Now my brother and I growing up, we read the Quran, we read the translation, the interpretation. We went through the Prophet, the seerahs, the stories of the prophets, but I didn't connect. I zoned out. My brother, on the other hand, actually appreciated the lessons, and he got it. But 2 things happened to me. First was some of the muallims teaching us the Quran were very wicked. I started to associate everything with learning the Quran with pain, because they used and were very generous with the bulala. Some had very questionable character. I remember one particular one used to have my brothers and I take turns to go into my mother's store. Today, it would be my turn to bring him 2 cups of rice. Another day, it would be my brother to bring him a bit of milk and sugar and so on. In short, he was teaching us to steal. They didn't make Islamia fun or lively. My friends, on the other hand, who attended Bible school, came to share unbelievable stories of how their Moses, with his magic, had so much excitement going on than my Musa alayhi salam. How their Noah was more adventurous than my Nuh alayhi salam. And their Jesus, oh, their Jesus was so cool. He had swag compared to my Isa alayhi salam. The day I finished the Quran, I was about 16 years old. It didn't mean much to me. It was just a day for me to stuff my face with a lot of meat and food. Because I had turned out, I had tuned out, I didn't connect. I didn't feel the message or get the relevance in my life. One thing that I notice in our society is how much emphasis we put on how much of the Quran we have memorized more than how much we understand of the message. How much we love to show off that our children are Hafiz of the Quran, more than how much of it, what is in the book, they have converted and translated into their actions, into their character. So even though there is a ton of reward for reciting and memorizing the Quran, the greatest purpose is for guidance, for it to be understood. And you can't understand if you do not read with the intention of learning what the message is. So what's the point of reading if you don't get the message? So while the recitation of the Quran is absolutely beautiful, if it's not translated into action, then we have missed the message. It is meant to be understood, not just the beautiful letters and the melody, but it has a message that is meant to be put in place, to guide, to inspire us, to caution us, to comfort us, and to solve our problems. If you ask many today, what makes you a Muslim? What separates you from others who are practicing their own deens? They will tell you, I pray 5 times a day. I believe in one God and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger. I fast, I do sadaqah, I go for Hajj. However, if you ask them, what is it in your character that differentiates you from other deens? What gives you conviction that this is the right deen? They often can't give you the right answer. Yet the answer is right there in the message. Because we pray 5 times a day doesn't make us good Muslims. Because we fast, we go for Umrah and Hajj, doesn't make us good Muslims. The greatest jihad we are fighting today is not holding on or being given the liberty to practice our religion freely. It's actually a Muslim identity crisis that we're suffering from. So what does it really mean to you to be Muslim? Because if the message of Allah is that we shouldn't cheat, gossip, steal, or lie, and we do. We shouldn't fornicate, drink alcohol, collect interest, give bribes, have pride, but we do. And if the message of Allah is that we should enjoin right and forbid wrong, now a few are trying, but if you think about it, there is so much going wrong around us. Because some of us choose to complain and do nothing, or sadly, join in. If you were to ask many, and believe me, this is a question I have been asking regularly, what makes you a Muslim? What you hear is the pride in the label of being Muslim. We love to say, I am a Muslim. But how? In what way? What does it mean to you? After doing all those things that you're not supposed to do, you are still proud to call yourself a Muslim? Muslim is not a name of an identity which we treat like this big tribe. For example, I am Nupi and I am a woman. That is an identity. However, whichever way I choose to behave doesn't reduce my Nupiness and doesn't reduce my femininity. So if I choose to shave my head bald today, if I choose to wear trousers, doesn't reduce my womanhood. If I behave badly, it still doesn't stop me, or I will still be identified as a woman. If I speak French, Fulfulde, or Chinese, I'm still Nupi. That doesn't reduce. However, the word Muslim means a submitter. So a submitter, a Muslim is somebody who does everything in their power, does their best to submit to the will of Allah. If we stop submitting, or reject striving to submit by going against what Allah's injunctions are, then to Allah, we are no longer a Muslim. So it's like being part of this exclusive club. That's how I look at it. It's like being part of this exclusive club that belongs only to Allah. And for us to be members of this exclusive club, you have to agree to and follow the rules to be a member. When you think about the Muslim community here in the North, for instance, where we Muslims are the majority, we can't boast that the North is corruption-free, because there are more Muslims, and we can't blame it on the non-indigents or the non-Muslims as to why corruption and crime is still very, very high here. Yet we say we are Muslims. A lady I was counseling on a marriage issue, she said, Maryam, we just have to accept that our men will cheat on us. And she's talking about Muslim men. We say we are Muslims. We hold political positions, have positions where we can influence leaders who deny the masses, to develop, to have potable water, medical facilities and schools. Yet we say we are Muslims. Many gain income from non-halal means. Some acquire positions in companies where more qualified people are passed because they didn't have the right connections. Yet we say we are Muslims.